a lot of people that they used to support me, they don't anymore because they see the change in me and they don't like the growth in me. Like, not everyone will like us, but it's a good thing. If you're liked by everyone, it means that you are vanilla. You don't have bold opinions. You don't have a really strong point of view. Like, if everyone agrees with you, it means that you are not like with strong opinions, with bold statements, and something that could drive change.
This is the Reframe Your Journey podcast, because we know you can go further and faster together. It doesn't have to be a guessing game. Each session, we'll be getting into advice and tactical tools centered around the 3 S's of strategy, systems, and long-term success. I'm Greg Ryder, entrepreneur, course creator, and coach. Let's dive in. My guest this week is mastering the art of being a content creator and becoming a solopreneur. She creates leads and knows how to turn them into paying clients. She left the corporate marketing world behind after working with likes of Pinterest and Meta to now build her own brand and service offering. She continues to study and provide incredible content strategy and frameworks while staying active with her own community and teaching them the power of personal branding. Please welcome Deborah Prossomariti. Deborah, welcome to the show. This is a Reframe podcast series where we are exploring and talking to people from a wide range of professionals on how they are using LinkedIn, the platform, the impact they're making on the platform, and just to so many people's lives. So happy you're here. I'm excited to chat with you today, Deborah. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Of course. Well, I'm excited to learn from you and have so many people learn from you in what you do. I like to share a little fun fact up front, typically, if I can. And the one fun fact today is that I too am from a small town of about 3,000 people in the middle of Southern Ontario, Canada, where there's like not much around. So I saw your one post about where you're from, so I can relate totally to that.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. Anyway, I will dig in, but I'd love to hear your turning point to start. So I'm not going to dig into your background and your working history with Meta or Pinterest and everything you've done there. You have your marketing chops. Anybody that's seen your content can see and feel that. But maybe you can share with us why LinkedIn, how it started for you, and when did you start to take it serious or see the potential there?
So it's an interesting question because I have different phases. I started using LinkedIn for job search, as most people do. And I wanted to work in tech, so I really tried to understand how LinkedIn works, especially from a networking point of view, and how I could best optimize my profile to really attract the recruiters as the best candidate for a specific role. So I started to study the platform a little from that point of view. And what I realized then, it was that there was actually a huge community of people creating and sharing the stories. And it was also a great opportunity to make friends and really staying true to yourself and sharing something more, just more than your professional side.
Right.
So it started really like how most people, they jump into LinkedIn, they start with the job search and they just write to the recruiters. So I started to do something differently. So I wanted to use my background in marketing to use the tool in a different way and attract opportunities instead of chasing them. So it was related to job search initially. Then I started creating. I made friends with some very influential people, and they gave me some guidance about how to post, how to create, how to get engagement. And initially it was really just for fun. I started posting in May 2019. No, sorry, it was 2021. So okay. I started just for a few months, but it was really fun. It was something that it became like a hobby for me.
Right.
The fact is that I didn't have any real purpose or clarity. behind the content that I was creating. So I was sharing my stories. It was fun. I was already getting a lot of traction since like already after the second week, I was already getting hundreds of likes. So it was something very overwhelming already, but I didn't like have any business purpose apart from the job search side. So in August 2021, it happened that there was a big drop in reach, engagement, everything because of a LinkedIn update.
Yeah.
And I was like, since I didn't have any real like purpose and clarity of what I was doing, it was just for fun. I started to attach a lot to the metrics. And I started to see like to attach my value to those tasks, and I see the drop. So it was really effective negatively my mental health. So I decided to take a break. I say, okay, I'm going to take a digital detox, start a digital detox for just 1 week, 1 month. 1 week became 1 month, became 3 months, and at the end it was more than 1 year. I restarted only in July 2022. So I restarted creating, but purposely.
So what happened there? Like, what changed when you came back? So after your digital detox, and I think we'll talk a little bit more later about, you know, the attachment to metrics that content creators go through, because I think that's an important topic. But when you came back and started to take it serious, you know, what happened there? Like, where was the turning point to be?
So there were a few factors, but there were specifically 2 factors. So one of them was the fact that I realized that I wanted to start something for myself. So I was already in client management, and I was really like, I really loved the interaction that I had with clients. I knew that I could do more by setting my own rules. So I was already thinking about like doing something for myself. And I knew that LinkedIn was a good platform to get clients. But the real trigger to restart creating was an episode in which I restarted using, like in 2022, I restarted using LinkedIn for job search. So I came back not as a creator, but as a job seeker. Okay. Even like I was in full-time job, but I was already like restarting because I needed a switch. The big trigger was an episode in which I got a job offer, and they explicitly told me that because I was a young woman, my offer would have been discounted by $20,000. So that was a very difficult moment for me, because I would have moved to another country, another city again, one of my favorite cities. And it was a very senior role that I could have taken. I knew that I had the skills, and also the hiring manager was supporting me. So I knew that I deserved the right amount. So that was the real trigger that made me feel like, okay, I need to post this. I need to share this, because I know that there are other people like me that are not saying anything, and they are just accepting something that they shouldn't accept. So this is one of my also like my core values, also like women empowerment, stay true to yourself. So it was something really, really powerful and really important to me. It took me almost 1 month to share it. Like I wrote it, I wrote the post, but I overthought it for almost 1 month.
Wow.
But once I posted, it went viral, like crazy viral. I got almost 1 million views in 1 week, because also then like following posts went viral. So I started to get a lot of traction and a lot of opportunities just for that specific post. And I realized that I wanted to do more, and I could, like my voice could have had even a bigger impact if I kept doing that.
Right. Wow. So that's massive reach and impact, and shows the relatability. like you said, so many people are probably going through that same thing and not saying something or just accepting and moving on. And I think there's so much work to be done in that space of just, equitable pay and everything that people deserve. So you made the post. And I mean, I have to tell you, from my LinkedIn journey, I was very much the job oriented person when I started on that platform as well. But I was surprised at one point how many job offers were coming to me. And I understood the power of the platform when it's like, I looked at it like an online resume, but recruiters were coming to me saying, hey, how about this job? Are you interested in this? I was getting, 2 of those calls every week for a while. And I was like, this is amazing. There's some power here. Like,
Yeah,
before the
definitely.
mindset was you have to go out and get that job. And now jobs are coming to me. Like, what is this thing? So you made the post, it went viral and had some huge impact. And that's when you made the decision, Deborah, like, I'm going to really take this platform serious. Like, what was your next move from there?
I was already thinking about doing that. I was already drafting some posts. Like even in December, in 2021, in December, I was checking the platform thinking I should restart. I want to restart but I was really stuck because restarting, sometimes it's even harder to start in the first place. And I kept seeing so many people like with great numbers, viral posts, crazy following, and I had less than 5K followers. It was really intimidating. Like even if I was already writing before, I had this big drop in views and everything. So I was almost like I was stuck, and I thought like, I don't know if I will ever be able to do what I was able to do before.
Right. Yeah. You had such a high bar set coming with a post
So
like that,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Especially like right now with AI, it's even worse. But even before, like, and also because a lot of people fake it, and I didn't know. Like there were a lot of people joining pods, paying for likes, and I was checking their posts. I was like, why this motivational quote that everyone already knows gets 30K likes? Why? So I was wondering, and I didn't know like a lot of people that were like faking it and making it look easier than it is in reality.
Right. Well, let's fast forward a bit. I'm going to share a post of yours here because you are now having a lot of success on the platform and making such an impact. But I want to share that, whether you call yourself a solopreneur, a content creator, the whole world of being a digital nomad now that people are trying to achieve, like with everything you got going on, like this post to me is around things to accept as you're moving into that. And that this story here, Deborah, is one about you'll always be a villain in someone else's story, inevitably. Not everyone is going to love what you do. And you just have to learn how to be okay with that and inevitably, move on and try to let these things not bother you. Can you share a little bit about this lesson and like for content creators to understand that everyone's not going to like what you do? How's that lesson been for yourself and how do you feel about it now?
In content creation, but also in life, because I realized like I've been traveling a lot, like really a lot. I lived in more than 8 countries over the last few years, and I just moved back to Spain again. And I also started my own business and like moved from employee to solopreneur, content creator, and consultant. So there have been a lot of changes, and it was very hard for me to maintain the relationships, even more than like establishing them, especially because like in some cases when you have big changes in your life and you, for example, you get to the next level, so you see that there is something like you are growing really fast, especially if you are moving to another country, you need to face the reality of another country. You need to grow really faster than you do when you are surrounded by everything like which is familiar and you're like familiar faces. the same routine. So like when you move abroad, you are on your own, starting something new. You need to take responsibility, accountability, and like you need to be proactive and change. And a lot of people that they used to support me, they don't anymore because they see the change in me and they don't like the growth in me. So how like this change has affected me. And of course, I'm not like the same person that I was before, but in some cases, in their narrative, I'm still same the person. So
Right.
like we all have some stories that they finish, they like fade away at some point, but in the meantime, you have grown, you are different. But in their mind, since they don't know the new person that you are, they still think that you are the same person that you were before. But in the meantime, you have changed. You have a brand new personality. So
Yes. Yeah.
so yeah, that was
Absolutely.
about this, and like the fact that we need to accept the fact that people, like not everyone will like us, in the same way in which we don't like everyone. So, but it's a good thing because like if you're liked by everyone, it means that you are vanilla. Like you are something that it's like you don't have bold opinions, you don't have a really strong point of view. And like if everyone agrees with you, it means that you are not strong, like with strong opinions, with bold statements, sharing bold statements, and something that could drive change. So I do prefer having someone against me than like everyone agree with everything I say, because otherwise I cannot grow.
Well, that's so true. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And what a great way to look at it too. It's almost a sign of growth when you start facing some of that
It's not
pushback
easy.
or people.
It's
Yeah.
not easy because you get a lot of feedback and it's not always positive. But yeah, it's like it's inevitable. Like you cannot please everyone.
Yeah, and one of the other posts I was going to bring up, you kind of touched on around like sort of losing some people in your life or like some of those relationships. And and I know when I started committing to personal growth in my 20s, same sort of thing. There starts to be a separation a little bit, and from people that knew you from your past and who you're becoming. And we're focused on where we're going and who we're becoming and growing. So that separation starts to happen. And I think you had a really good post around that. But what I would like to also talk about is now that you're building a business on your own and you're making it happen and creating impact, what are some of the things that maybe you didn't notice or you would share with other people looking to build a business that's harder than you may think? Like it's easy to think it's all rainbows and butterflies being a digital nomad, you're building your own business, but what are some things that maybe people overlook that's challenging or heavy as a business owner?
There are a few things. I think it's also related to the fact that I started my own business and also moved to a new country, a new city. So like it wasn't the smartest, probably the smartest thing to do, but I mean, it was my dream city, so I wanted to like just go full in, and it's working out. So why not? I think the main yeah, there are a few. It depends on the person, I think. Because like I'm a natural extrovert. So for me, like moving to a new city and growing my own business has been much, much harder. Like while growing my own business is much harder than moving to a new city with an existing project with like colleagues or teammates. So especially because right now I'm working fully remotely. So I'm working for cafes or from my room in the evening with clients. And also work with clients globally. So mainly from Canada, the States, or the UK. So the distance is real, and it's it's much, much different than having an office or having the university in which you meet up with your teammates or your colleagues. And you already have this, like you have the same challenges, the same issues, and you work together like face to face. Of course, and now I am like in touch with a lot of other solopreneurs, other content creators, but they are like most of the time, apart from someone that I met also here in Madrid, but most of the time they are far away and they are spread across the countries. So like the social aspect, as I think it's one of the main challenges. You can there are a lot of things to you can overcome this with co-sharing, going to places, co-working places,
Right.
but still it's not the same.
Yeah, you said it. The distance
yeah.
is real. I think that's so true. And for somebody like myself, my connection in sort of power and work world is being in person with people. Like it's the coffee walks. It's the let's go for a walk and chat, or that was really where a connection was built between my teammates and myself, and my peers. And now it's just not quite the same like this. I love that we can build a community on LinkedIn, which is one thing I'm realizing. The community is strong, and then how to bridge it off of LinkedIn and start to build some of those relationships. But how are you feeling the support on that platform? I know I spend way less time on Twitter and other platforms now just because it just feels so less supportive and communal than LinkedIn. It just feels like a great opportunity to build community. Are you feeling that as well?
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Sometimes I even think that this without the support from my community, I'm not sure if I would have been able to keep doing and keep moving with the same speed and the same consistency that I've been keeping doing. So because the support from the community, it's the comments, the engagement, the direct messages, even. I think it's completely different from all the other platforms. So I noticed this this change, especially because I work in social media myself, and you could see that there is actually a big difference between the connection and the conversations that you have on other platforms compared to LinkedIn. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's heavy
I'm a bit
stuff.
biased, but yes. I might be a bit biased.
Yeah, maybe me too, I guess. But running your own thing or being a business owner or content creator, it's heavy at times. And a lot of people can carry it well, but it doesn't mean it's not heavy. And it doesn't mean we need, other people to talk to about it. I'm going to share one more post and come back to that, what I mentioned earlier around metrics. So this is a great post that you put out around vanity metrics. And it's easy to try and say, oh, we don't care about them. And I think, there's a lot of truth in the fact that, yet when we hit one, we're so excited or we want to share it. We hit this number, we hit this target. And I think a lot of that is natural human behavior, right? And you talk about practicing some detachment in this post from those metrics, and not letting that necessarily control your growth or what you're focused on. Can you share a little bit about that, what that process has been for you and things that you can control versus can't control?
Yes, that post brought a lot of hate. I got a lot of trolls and hateful comments and messages from that post because probably a lot of people felt called out and triggered. Anyway.
Right. Wow.
Yes, the practice detachment is one of the lines that I'm trying to follow over this year as well, but not just related to content creation, but in life, external, it relates to external validation itself. Regards to content creation, it's linked to my previous experience on LinkedIn. So since when I first started, I was too attached to the metrics, and it was if my post doesn't get enough it means that people don't like me and I'm not valuable enough. So there was this logical, which is not super logical, but irrational thinking about people don't like my post, so they don't like me, so I'm not valuable enough. I'm not enough. So, and it's the same when you are at school and you don't get a good grade. and you feel bad about yourself, and like, oh, I'm completely a failure because I failed the exam. But it's like there is this little thing which is different. Like there is a difference between being a failure and failing per se.
Right.
Because like we all fail all the time. Like I make mistakes all the time. So, but that doesn't mean that I am a mistake myself. So like you can, like you will always have an underperforming post, always. And you also will have an overperforming post. So.
Right. I
that's
see that.
The feeling. Yeah.
I see that in the design world too. Like designers go through that, running an agency. I see, they put all this work into their design, they present it, and then the difference of opinion is like somebody doesn't like it. And it's simply their opinion, right? It's like the designer really put in a bunch of blue and the person reviewing it's like, I like red, not blue. So it's like so subjective to opinion sometimes, right? It's not that the design isn't any good. It's just a difference of opinion sometimes. Like,
yeah,
that's
but it's the same for job search, like in interviews. Like you don't get a job, but it's not that you are not even like, maybe you are even qualified for the job, So yeah, that's a big switching mindset that I'm trying to follow. I cannot always do that because it's really, really hard, but I'm trying to follow and repeat to myself and to my audience so they can. It's always a self-reminder to remember that we cannot be liked by everyone, but if we are true to ourselves, we are going to attract the right people, both in terms of clients, opportunities, and it's better to stay true to yourself and share your values and than wearing a mask all the time, because that's the fake part. That's the fake part in the whole process, and you can maintain the mask forever.
Right. Yeah. You can't be somebody else. You can't put on that mask. Yeah. And have it live long term. That's such important lessons there. Thank you for sharing. I know you just launched your own website. It's Debbie.pro. So people can go on there, subscribe to your newsletter. One thing I have to say is that free resource you have on your website is like 14 days of like content basically to use that you're giving away. Like, I can't believe you're actually giving that away for free.
It hurt a little. It means that it's a good thing, I think.
It really is. There's so much value there. So anybody listening that hasn't gone on to Debbie's site, go on, get that free resource. It's so much value. And just everything you're doing on that platform is adding a lot of value. You have a lot of structure, you have a lot of strategy behind that, and business thinking too, right? If I'm read everything correctly, you also have business education behind you on all of this. So it's super impactful. Debbie, keep making a difference. There's a ripple effect that you're adding and value to people.
Thank you.
And giving them hope that they can go on and do something for themselves too. So thank you for joining us, Debbie. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Be sure to check the show notes for a recap of the lessons so you can reference them as you look to apply them to your journey. Please be sure to subscribe, give it a like, and a comment. It is very much appreciated. Have a great day, a great week, and let's go and grow.